In a world where...
Is this thing on?
Barely.
This episode of the Just John podcast is brought to you by one of the most amazing patrons on the planet, and the random fact that the lighter was invented before the match. What up, homies? I'm your host, John Medina, and this, my fine ladies and gentlemen, is the Just John podcast, episode 24 for the week of February 6th, 2016. Today on the show, Hyperloop 2018, Snapchat, hashtag shred your ex, and more.
Fart in your general direction. Your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries.
The Hyperloop. The Hyperloop is essentially a giant pneumatic tube that people can travel through in a little car. Elon Musk, the CEO of SpaceX and Tesla Motors, came up with this idea a couple years ago and put the plans for it out on the internet in a PDF to where anybody could download it because he wanted to try to jumpstart this idea. Well, according to the company Hyperloop Transportation Technologies, the transportation system could be ready for passengers by 2018. Essentially what this is it's based off the tubes that you have at the bank. Like, you go to the bank, you're in the drive-thru, and the teller has this little tube that they send you, and you put your check in it or whatever, and it's got a pin in there for you to sign crap, and then you push the little button and it sends it back. That's basically what this is, but for people. Really, it reminds me of Futurama, like the opening. You got all the people flying through the town and the little tubes being sucked around and stuff. That is exactly what it is. Elon Musk claims that once implemented on a larger scale, the Hyperloop could carry travelers from Los Angeles to San Francisco in half an hour. That's crazy. And I mean, it would do a lot for transportation. I mean, imagine, we wouldn't even need cars anymore. You could just jump in the Hyperloop and go from wherever. We wouldn't even need planes, really, except for, going from one continent to another. Otherwise, you could just take the Hyperloop everywhere if it's that fast. I mean, by the time you get to the airport, get through security, get all that stuff done, get on the plane, get out on the tarmac, take off, land, get in the airport, get your bags, get out of the airport. You could have just jumped in the Hyperloop super quick. I mean, technically, you're going to have to get to the station a little early too, because for the same reasons as you have to get to the airport early, you're going to need, a bunch of different security checks and stuff. But I still think that it would be a more efficient, faster system. And if it's not gas powered, which from what I could tell, it's not gas powered, it's going to be more environmentally friendly as well, and the tickets should be cheaper, at least after they get, all of the infrastructure built, of course. Speaking of the Hyperloop, they actually had a Hyperloop pod design competition at Texas A&M University last Saturday. MIT was awarded the top prize at the competition and will now go on to build an actual pod to race on the under construction track near SpaceX Hawthorne, California headquarters. There were several other categories that had winners like propulsion and different things like that, and up to 32 teams are actually going to get to test their pod. I think this is cool. I think it could inspire a lot of people to do a lot of different things. I tracked down the plan on the internet, and I don't understand any of it really, but basically it's a lot more safe than trains, a lot more fuel efficient than cars and planes. More fuel efficient than trains too, because we don't have a lot of maglev trains here in the States. But it's just crazy what people can come up with these days, and what Elon Musk is doing he is literally the modern day Tony Stark. If there's a real life Iron Man on the planet right now, I would say it's Elon Musk.
People in Iowa, be prepared!
Snapchat, the app that was once known for sending nudie photos, has really been trying to make a name for itself. One of the ways that it's doing this is by gaining popularity. But the trouble with Snapchat is that it's really difficult to add somebody onto Snapchat. You have to either know their phone number, or you have to know their username, which is probably pretty complicated, Or you can use their BOOR code, which is cleverly named, but not very convenient. I mean, you can like take a picture of it or, upload it or whatever and use it, but it's not very easy. But never fear. Last week, Snapchat fixed that problem. The company quietly added a new feature in its most recent update that allows you to grab a personalized URL to send to people who want to follow you. So if you go to the Add Friends section in the app's drop-down menu, there's a new Share Username option. Tapping on that will give you a personalized URL. It's basically going to say snapchat.com/user/whatever. And when you share that on Twitter or Facebook, somebody clicks on it on their phone, it's immediately going to take them to the Snapchat app and add you to their friends list. So that's really nice because it can be extremely hard to find somebody to add right now. And I mean, we cannot all be DJ Khaled. We can't all be so popular that people are just scouring the internet constantly just to find our Snapchat username. It's just not logical to think that everybody's going to do that. So Snapchat is really, really taking the time and effort to try to make their app something that everybody can use, something that's super user-friendly, because we know once you get your growth past the tweens and the millennials that your next goal for growth is the olds, so to speak, the Generation X, Generation Y, and baby boomers and so forth. So to attract these people to it who are not known for being the most tech-savvy individuals in the world, you have to make it easy to use and easy to add people, and that's what they're doing because they want to break that shell of, oh yeah, the young kids just use this app to send nudes to each other. They want to become a legitimate sharing and social media style app.
Hello, I'm Bill Nye. You may know me from such things as science.
But Snapchat's not stopping at changing the way that the usernames work and adding the URL and allowing you to add people that way. They've also changed their Snapchat video style. Well, they haven't changed it yet, but they're planning on changing it. At least that's the rumor. The developers behind the app SnapRefs were searching through the Snapchat public code and found what looks to be more of a traditional messaging app than what we currently know Snapchat uses. The new chat interface would basically make it easier to send photos and start video chat with another person. You could do both of those right now on Snapchat, but it's really hard. You have to stumble upon them or, search them out. How do I do this? How do I do that? And it's not apparent how to do it either. Like you click on the app and it doesn't say do this to send a photo or do this to start a video chat. And as I said, if Snapchat wants to broaden their audience and attract the olds, then they need to make it a lot easier to use. Not saying that older people can't figure it out, but if they want them to use it all the time, it needs to be accessible. They don't spend nearly as much time on their mobile phones as the millennials and the tweens and stuff. So they need to give them the ability to go to it easy, access it quickly, and do what they want to do with it. The new interface is also adding a way to start voice calls and send stickers in the chat. Basically, it's turning into Facebook Messenger essentially because video chat's been around for a little while. Not that a lot of people use it for that, but it's there if you want to. But now you can you can make calls from the app, which it seems like every messaging app is getting to the point where you can now make calls from their app over the internet. It's not going to be long before we don't even need phone service anymore. All we need is data service. All of our text messages, our phone calls, our video calls, everything will literally just go over the internet. There will be no need to have a cellular signal anymore as long as you have internet, which is what makes Google's balloon internet service so enticing because you would literally have internet everywhere. But mobile data is freaking expensive, man. Like in comparison to your home data service through your local internet service provider, the cost per megabyte or gigabyte or however you want to calculate it is astronomically higher, seriously higher. I mean, I have unlimited internet service and I pay under $50 a month. You can't imagine that on a cell phone at nearly the speeds. You would have to pay thousands of dollars a month to get that. Another reason for this update, I believe, is that because Snapchat is going to start charging for the stickers. Now, I'm not judging you entirely if you've bought stickers on other services like Kik or WhatsApp or Facebook or whatever, but come on, why? What's the point of buying a sticker on a messaging app. I guess someone could rationalize it, but that's not me. I guess I just don't have enough money. That's the problem. I just need to get more money, and then I'll start spending money on weird stuff like stickers on Facebook Messenger and Snapchat Messenger. I mean, we've seen Snapchat do a few things to try to earn some money. They've got the new, the sponsors, the ads during Snapchat stories and things like that. And then we saw them make it to where you can replay other people's snaps up to 3 additional times after your first one in a day for like 99 cents extra. So it's not illogical to understand that Snapchat's trying to find a way to make money. It's just, I don't know if they should be going with the traditional, let's make weird little things for people to buy at $1 a piece, and they'll be like, oh, it's only $1, and the next thing they know, they spent like $45 on stupid Snapchat stickers.
At midnight Saturday, the telephones in this city will be changed to dial service, and all telephone numbers will be changed.
Speaking of video, Snapchat's not the only one to do something with video this week. Spotify Video just launched. So Spotify launched its video channel, which comes with content from ESPN, Comedy Central, MTV, BBC, Vice News, Slate, and many others. It's basically the Spotify version of what you already get on Snapchat. If you go to the little section above, you go over to where your stories are in the little section above where you got all these different channels from companies and stuff. So it's basically just that, but on Spotify. On both Android and iOS, you can go to Spotify Videos by tapping the Browse section and then choosing Shows. Once you've picked the show or video partner, you hit the follow button and it adds them to your library, blah, blah, blah. If you look at the early section, it's really just basically what you'd expect. It's just little videos of The Daily Show and Sports Center and whatever. It's no longer uncommon to see these music streaming services have videos. Your Google Music combined with YouTube and the YouTube Red subscription, so you now got access to all of YouTube ad-free and your music catalog that's in Google Music. Apple Music has video, Tidal has video, but the weird thing about Spotify Video is that they're not even music videos. I'm not sure that Spotify understands what it wants to be. Does it want to be a direct competition for YouTube Red now? Does it want to have music and video and music videos? But if they start doing that, they're going to have to get some original content. You can't compete with a company that's been around and established and has a huge user base and is now literally making professional content, especially for their service. I'm not sure that Spotify knows what they want to do and what they want to be. It seems like they're picking different things from different services and trying to customize it into the catch-all that everyone wants to go and see, but I just don't know how successful they're going to be with that endeavor. All right, we're about halfway through the show, so I am going to now play some music. This song is called Swamp Thing, and it's by Free Recovery from their self-titled EP.
Last night
Nothing beats a badass guitar solo. Again, that was called Swamp Thing by the band Free Recovery, and as usual, you can check out all of their latest stuff in the show notes below.
This is Frankie McDowell, my own TV station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia.
Hashtag shred your ex. So with Valentine's Day right around the corner, you know, everybody's favorite holiday, at least all the men's favorite holiday. Am I right? Okay, no, probably not. Anyway, Hooters, you know, every man's favorite restaurant, which I'm not lying is probably true. They are offering 10 free boneless wings when you purchase 10 wings, as long as you bring in a picture of your ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend to shred. I think this is a fantastic idea. It's a funny promotion. It's going to get a lot of buzz. People are talking about it, tweeting about it. And I wonder if you can go there with your current boyfriend or girlfriend, take a picture of your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, buy your 10 wings, shred the picture, and just give your current boyfriend or girlfriend your free wings. How romantic is that? You take your girlfriend to the Hooters for the Valentine's Day celebration. And in your back pocket, lo and behold, is a picture of your ex-girlfriend. And you say, honey, I love you so much that I am going to shred this picture of my ex-girlfriend just to get you free food. If that's not romance, I don't know what is. I'm kidding, of course, but it would be kind of funny. I'm sure there will be people that do that. I won't be one of the people to do that, but it's just interesting and it's funny. And whoever came up with that gold star faux show.
Don't tase me, bro. Don't tase me.
The duct tape challenge. Now, there's a lot of these challenges that have been going around lately. A Washington State teenager was seriously injured after taking the duct tape challenge. So basically what you do with the duct tape challenge is you wrap yourself in, you have someone wrap you in duct tape, and then you just try to escape. You try to set yourself free. It's basically the cheap version of locking someone in a straitjacket and trying to watch them get out. So generally, when they tape you up, you're sitting in a chair, and they tape you up, and then you got to try to get out of the chair. A boy by the name of Skylar Fish had his friends tape him while he was standing up, and as he tried to free himself, he fell and his head hit the concrete and caused a brain aneurysm. That's a lot for a 14-year-old boy to go through, you know? Like, you're just trying to have a good time with your buddies, and you want to do something that's probably a little stupid, and so you duct tape yourself, and then you fall, hit your head, and you bust your dome so hard that you give yourself a brain aneurysm. That's just crazy. Skylar was quoted as saying, "I just regret doing the challenge that day. I wanted to try it because I thought, oh, it might be fun, but now I know it's not a good idea." These challenges are just like, in a world where viral videos can get you your 15 minutes of fame, which so many people are so desperate to get their 15 minutes of fame that they will do almost anything. And you've got kids that don't make good decisions half the time anyway. I mean, we've all been dumb teenagers and done dumb stuff. We were just lucky enough for it to not be filmed, recorded, and archived on the internet. But all of these challenges lately have just been getting so many people to do them. And you see all of these horror stories. I mean, I watched some of those cinnamon challenge videos where people, I mean, I literally thought they were going to like cough up a lung or just like throw their guts up forever. Like, it was horrible. I just saw all these people do this dumb stuff. And then don't even get me started on the Kylie Jenner lip challenge. That was just so ridiculous. I saw some videos of some young girls that were doing it, and then they like literally freaked out after they realized their lips weren't gonna go back down immediately, and like crying about having to go to school and how they were gonna call into school and fake being sick. And I'm just like, you're a kid, you did dumb shit, get over it, go to school, and when people ask what happened, be like, I did the freaking Kylie Jenner lip challenge, and you should see the cup. And then just blow it off. Or just say, you know what, I did this and it was dumb as hell, and I don't recommend that you do it. You know, make people aware that it's not a good idea to do, instead of just spreading it around like, oh yeah, I did it, you should do it too, just because you don't want to be the only one that looks silly at school. Don't do drugs, kids.
Because drugs are bad, okay? I guess you could say things are getting pretty serious.
Do you get annoyed by chewing noises? Well, have I got news for you. It's actually a genuine psychiatric disorder. You're suffering from a condition called misophonia. The literal definition of misophonia is the hatred of sound. While you might not hate all sounds, there are definitely a lot of sounds that do annoy you. Chewing, coughing, sneezing, mouth breathing, chewing on fingernails, things like that just really, really get your goat. This condition causes an extremely strong emotion in the sufferer and often affects the sufferer's loved ones the most. It could lead to arguments over stupid stuff like, dude, why you gotta slurp your tea like that? Or we're never eating soup again because you can't control your soup eating. Or you need to turn up the TV because you're chomping too loud on your food and I can hear you while you eat, and it literally drives me crazy. So if you suffer from this disorder, doctors recommend that you make sure to tell your family, friends, and colleagues about the condition. If your work environment is full of triggers, make sure you ask your boss if you can move somewhere else so that you can focus on your work. I'm not buying that one. You're going to see somebody that has an office mate that they just don't necessarily get along with, and then they're just going to be like, hey, boss, I have misophonia, and so I really can't focus very well when I'm around people that make certain noises, and this person just breathes out of their mouth all day, and I really just can't be by them, so I think I need my own office. Some people have had hypnotherapy to deal with the symptoms, and they said it's been effective, so you could do that if you wanted to. It's a really weird situation, but if you go on the internet, you can find a video that tests if you have it, and it just has a bunch of noises like slurpings and different things like that. And if any of those noises really, really irritate you, then it's not necessarily a self-diagnosis, but it's basically saying that you have this disorder.
Some avocado.
The DeLorean, the car from Back to the Future, could soon be going back into production, thanks to a new law that exempts small volume car manufacturers from the safety requirements applied to the most new cars in the market. What? That is a horrible idea. Oh yeah, you're a small car manufacturer, you're not going to sell a whole lot of them, so we're not going to worry about them being safe or not. That seems responsible, doesn't it? Well, the law does only apply to replica vehicles, so it has to be a car that resembles the body of another vehicle that was produced at least 25 years ago. The DeLorean Motor Company currently focuses on just repairing and restoring the old vehicles, and they've remanufactured parts, they've got leftover parts, they've actually had to go back to the blueprints and specifically rebuild the parts, but now they're going to use these parts to build a new 2017 model year DeLorean complete with a crate engine from an outside supplier. So what does that mean? They have to buy the engines from somebody else because while they don't have to meet safety requirements, they still have to meet emissions requirements. So don't worry, your car may not have a seatbelt, it may not have airbags, and it may not be very safe if someone hits you head on, but you're not going to be polluting any extra. I don't understand the government stance on that. Oh yeah, you're going to make this old school style car so you don't have to make it safe. But if you harm the environment, that's not cool. Like that's not acceptable. I guess it's one of those things like if you buy an unsafe car, you know you're buying an unsafe car and that's your fault. But I don't understand the logic in that, and I don't think that that's very responsible. However, buying the engine from someone else also means it's going to be a lot more powerful. The original DeLorean only had a 130 horsepower engine, and they're looking at engines between 300 and 400 horsepower for the new one. They're also moving to 17 or 18-inch wheels because you can't get high-performance tires on the original wheel size for the vehicle, which was 14 and 15-inch rims. Don't worry, this is going to be extremely affordable. Not. The car is going to run between $80,000 and $100,000. I guess if you can spend $80,000 or $100,000 on a car, you're probably not too worried about the safety, but you know, it's not going to be long before somebody's driving one of these new cars and they get hit and they get killed, and the investigation finds out that the only reason they died is because the car didn't meet current safety standards, and then you're gonna have to recall all of them and do it anyway, and it's gonna be a big, huge legal battle, and I just think it's a stupid idea. Make the cars safe. That's all I'm saying. Just make it safe. Don't have to deal with the problems later, and life would just be so much better for everybody involved.
You know, when I see a car like this, first thing I do is I say, would you look at this?
All right, it's time for an app review. The app that I'm reviewing this week is called agar.io, and basically what this game is you are a little glob. You're a blob. That's what you are. You're just a blob. And you drag your finger around the screen to control it, and you eat other little mini blobs. And as you eat these little food pellet blobs, you grow and you get bigger and you get bigger. And it's a multiplayer game, so they throw you in a server with a bunch of other people, and they're blobs too, and you all start out at a certain size. And then as you grow, if you get bigger than another blob, you can eat them. And you can fire little pellets at people to make yourself smaller so you can get away, because the bigger that you get as your blob size, the slower that you move. You can also split your blob in half and shoot yourself at a blob. So say you're 3 times the size of somebody else and you can't catch them because you're too slow, but you want to eat them. You can you can split yourself in half and shoot it at them, and that half will eat them, and then you have to wait about 5 to 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds, and your 2 half blobs will combine back into a full blob. As you go through the game, you grow levels, and every level that you get works towards getting a new skin because you have different skins. Speaking of the skins, there's this cool little things if you name yourself Bush, then your skin on your little blob will be a picture of George W. Bush. And as you grow levels, your start out size is bigger. So when you first start the game, your blob starts out with a score, which is basically how big you are, your mass of 10, I think. And then every level that you grow, you start out as at a mass 1 higher. So level 2 would be mass 11, 12, 13, and so on and so forth. It's really basic and simple, but it's really addicting. And it is my life's goal currently to try and be the top person on the leaderboard in the game that I'm playing. I've gotten so close. I was number 4 one time, and that was with my mass at 1,122 or something. So I was really close to being the top in my server, but it's a fun game. It's a nice time waster. The average game only runs about 2 or 3 minutes before you get eaten or you run into a germ. Oh, speaking of that, there's germs on there, and if you run into it, it doesn't destroy you, it doesn't kill you, but it makes you lose all your mass and shoots you out in a bunch of different little mass balls, and they will come back and collect, but normally everybody's coming in and they eat you all up before you can combine back together, and then you lose and you have to start over. So I've got a couple announcements before I wrap the show up today. In just a few episodes, it will be episode 26 of the Just John podcast, and that is my 6-month anniversary. I can't believe it's been 6 months that I've spent talking to you guys every week about the latest geeky and pop culture news. It seems like the time has just flown by. In honor of my 6-month show, I want to do a listener special where I spend the whole episode answering your questions. That's right, your questions. You can ask me any type of question. Pop culture, geek, movies, music, tech, TVs, games, whatever you want, you can ask me, and I will go through and answer the questions on the listener special. You can submit questions to me on Twitter at JohnnyM_Revo, on Facebook at facebook.com/JustJohnPodcast, or you can email me at justjohnpodcast@gmail.com and just put listener question in the subject line.
Do the chickens have large talons?
I also want to give a special shout out to the most wonderful patron, Pod Underground, for supporting the show. You can find out more about how you can support the show on patreon.com/JFMedina2010. If you enjoyed the show, please show me some love by liking, thumbs up, subscribing, sharing, rating, reviewing, retweeting, or whatever it is that's used to symbolize the love of the show on the platform you're using to view it. You can follow me on Twitter at JohnnyM_Revo and Facebook.com/JustJohnPodcast. You can find the show show at justjohnpodcast.com, and you can listen on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, and some other shit. You can email me with questions at justjohnpodcast@gmail.com. And remember, without you, I'm just some dude talking to himself on the internet. Until next time, peace out, fam.